Potato is probably one of the most globalized food in the world, accepted as part of the local cuisine in most countries. Potato as a humble tuber is the fourth most cultivated crop in the world after wheat, rice and corn, and it's also the most cultivated non-grain crop. It can be eaten as staple food or eaten as a snack or as an addition for soup and curries, making liquor, food thickener, you name it. Potato can be found everywhere, but its presence feel like local. Eating potato will make you feel like in home. Potato is pretty humble, ordinary and boring in its own because it is everywhere. Rebecca Earl, food historian from University of Warwick, has something to say about potato and quote, it is grown practically everywhere in the world and practically everywhere people consider it one of our food, end quote. Potato is often considered as a local food in many countries despite its origin in the foot of the Andes Mountains. Let me bring you to an interesting story of how this humble and boring spud changed the world history and shaped the modern society that we know today. Potato was first domesticated on the foothills of Andes about 8,000 years ago. Even for the Inca Empire who ruled the Andes Mountain from 12th until 60th century, potato is a humble and boring, just as a plain simple food without much significant control from Incan Empire, what alone in imperial religious ceremonies. Spanish conquistador brought the potato with them to Spain in the mid-60th century, and it is durable and reliable food supply for the long journeys across the Atlantic Ocean. But the potato felt not really happy in the Spanish long hot summer days, as potatoes spread all over Europe by the Spanish armies in the 17th century when Spanish kings have holdings in several European states. Then potatoes spread all over the world by the vast network of sea and land routes. Potato has one big advantage than grains. It is relatively hideable. Potato fields often disguised as just a common field with flowers, when wheat field is visible from afar and could be plundered by invading armies. Most of the war happened in Europe, from the War of Austrian Succession in 1740, Seven Years' War from 1756, the Napoleon Wars in 1800 up until the World War II in 1938 until 1945 saw the increase of potato cultivation and is hidden from plain sight. How does it work? It's just masquerading as a blooming field of flowers and less likely to be plundered by invading armies because who knows, this beautiful flower has a food down there. In the time where pepper and salt were a luxury, eating potato as it is were not as enjoyable as modern day French fries. Denis Diderot wrote in his book Encyclopedia, no matter how you prepare it, the root is tasteless and starchy. It cannot be regarded as an enjoyable food, but it provides abundant, reasonably healthy food for men who want nothing but sustenance. To support Diderot's argument on how potato can make a person healthy, let's listen to a story of Antoine Augustin Parmentier. Antoine Augustin Parmentier served in the French army during the 7 Years' War and imprisoned by the Prussian forces. Migration of potato during the imprisonment makes him feel fascinated with the tuber that after he was released from prison in 1765, he started an effort to promote potato as a really worthy food to consider. When the Louis XVI was crowned as King of France in 1735, bread price skyrocketed due to high price of wheat. Parmentier took this opportunity to expand the potato cultivation by introducing it to nobility by its beautiful flowers and fine cookery. And for the ordinary people, Parmentier just simply plant potato in the outskirts of Paris for the curious commoners to take and eat. Soon, potato was widely cultivated all over Europe due to its minimal care, high yield and its versatility. Potato can be cooked in many ways according to the local recipes. Sociologist James Lang wrote that, quote, no crop produced more food per acre, demanded less cultivation and stored as easily as the potato. Interestingly, potato really fit the culinaries in the most culture, from Scandinavian ragamunk to Italian gnocchi to Irish mashed potato. Potato is so versatile that no other food can compete for its versatility and usability and taste. When Europeans start to expand the trade route to Africa, India, and East Asia, potato also followed its suit. Initially as the sheep ration, and later potato were cultivated widely in India and China. This process makes the globalization of potato possible. Yes, you heard that Chinese food also has potato, albeit potato is only start to become popular in the mid 20th century. Potato is a common food in the southern part of China and also in the northeast part of the country, where the climate is unforgiving for agriculture for most type of crop, but somehow is suitable for potatoes. Then try to convince an Indian that potato is not native to the soil, as this recipe were not around 500 years ago, which are potato curry, aloo masala, aloo jeera, aloo tikki, vada pav, anything with potato. It is unimaginable how a life in the modern India can be without a potato, at least in the northern part. When potato cultivation started to widespread in Europe since the 17th century, the continent experienced the advancement in science that sparked the Industrial Revolution. Adam Smith, the pioneer of modern economics, wrote in The Wealth of Nations, "The food produced by a field of potato is much superior to what is produced by a field of wheat. No food can afford a more decisive proof of its nourishing quality, or of its being peculiarly suitable to the health of the human constitution." End quote. As what happened in its ancestral Incan homeland, potato is actually still a humble and boring food. It was the peasant, the commoners, the working class who spread the potato cultivation with little government support. Peasants found that potato is so advantageous in surviving the poverty of the countryside. Potato harvest could feed a family from a small plot of 1 acre of land, which is unbeatable by any kind of grains available. The high potato yield also contribute to the booming population. Historian William Langer argues that within Europe, quote, "the spread of the potato culture everywhere corresponds with the rapid increase of the population." The argument that potato can support a large number of population can be supported by comment from William H. McNeill, which stated that, quote, "By feeding rapidly growing population, it permitted a handful of European nations to assert dominion over most of the world between 1750 and 1915. Famine, which was a common occurrence in the European history, subsided after the mass cultivation of potatoes since 1750. It increased the food supply with minimal land, water, and effort, which makes population boom and industrial revolution in Europe possible. And due to its egalitarian nature, potato has a strong footing in the socialist country, since potato is hardly been sanctified as most food mentioned in the holy text, such as grain, rice, corn, grapes, date, olives, to name a few. Potato is neither holy nor banished as an equal food perfect for an equal society. That is why the communist country and also the former Soviet republics are often the large producer of potatoes due to its egalitarian nature and also all the advantages that people already know. The largest producer of potato globally are China, India, Russia, and Ukraine because potato could provide the food security and it is widely cultivated, sufficient nutrition for the body, and potato is one of very few commodities which its price is not determined by the global market. The price of wheat and rice fluctuated by the global price, but potato price remains stable in the local market because most of the potatoes are produced and consumed locally. In year 2008, when Peru, the ancestral land of potato, experienced food insecurities due to more expensive imported wheat, and what happened? Peruvians simply mixed wheat and potato to make potato bread. As a conclusion, potato is truly a globalized food in the globalized world. Its versatility and its acceptance in many parts in various countries are simply unbeatable by other types of food which often considered as a foreign or alien to the other place. But potato is always feel like local, and eating potato, like for example potato curry, is always make me feel like home.